It's much easier to prevent than it is to fix when something's broke. And then when it's broke, somebody comes in the store and says, "Hey, Steve, what can you do to give me this? I need a pill to fix this." Well, at that point, if the damage has been done, there's no prescription drug and there's no supplement that's going to fix that. If your behavior played a role in your symptoms, then your behavior can also play a role in your healing. But I've seen so many quote unquote normal labs and people who feel like garbage. This isn't just a healthcare problem. This is a cultural one. We've accepted sick care as the norm, and wellness as longevity is something for other people. Welcome to The Trusted Pharmacist, where you'll learn the truth about how the body works. Welcome back to The Trusted Pharmacist. I'm your host, Steve Hoffart. You know, I've spent the last 30 years behind a pharmacy counter, interacting with patients, talking with those one-on-one, trying to help solve health issues, talking to providers, and even arguing with the insurance companies sometimes about the crazy cost of drugs. But what stuck out to me the most over these past 3 decades isn't just how medicine has changed, but it's how people haven't. I've filled hundreds of thousands of prescriptions, and I've talked to patients as young as 3 to 4 years old, up to patients over 100 years old. But if you ask me what I've learned over these years, it wouldn't be a list of drug names or FDA black box warnings. It would be this. People don't know how good their body is designed to feel. And even more importantly, if you put your body in the right place, it's designed to heal. But even more sadly, most of our healthcare system is set up to keep you from even knowing this information. In today's episode, I want to share with you the most powerful lessons that I've learned, not from textbooks, not from medical journals, but from real-world conversations with real people. The patterns, the mistakes, the myths that keep coming up, and what it all says about how we approach healthcare in our country. Have you ever felt like the healthcare system isn't working or it's broken? Or that when you go to your doctor, they just don't have enough time to spend with you? Or one prescription turned into 3 prescriptions, turned into 5 prescriptions, and you're still not feeling better? Maybe you're even feeling worse. Well, you're not alone. I've seen this, I've lived this, but I want to help you think about this and do something differently. So today I want to pull back the curtain on what 30 years of pharmacy has taught me, not just about health, but about people, how we think, how we wait too long, what we ignore, and what I wish every person knew so that they could help their body really heal and get well. One common mistake I see every day is people waiting to take care of their health. If I had $1 every time somebody asked me, if I'd have done this sooner, I could have had and retired years ago. The truth is, we wait too long to take care of ourselves. We wait until our blood pressure is off the chart so high that it causes a stroke or heart attack. We let our hormones get out of control and become erect so bad we get osteoporosis, and we let our brains deteriorate where we can't function. We put off sleep and don't worry about that to the point where we can't sleep enough to allow our body to repair. We don't work hard enough to allow the body to heal, and we put this off until it ultimately breaks down. It's much easier to prevent than it is to fix when something's broke. And then when it's broke, somebody comes in the store and says, "Hey, Steve, what can you do to give me this? I need a pill to fix this." Well, at that point, if the damage has been done, there's no prescription drug and there's no supplement that's going to fix that. But here's the truth I've learned. You cannot meditate your way out of a problem that you've behaved your way into. People come in with medical conditions all the time and ask for answers and solutions. And what I tell them, no matter what we recommend, no matter what we do, disease is a progression. Most things do not happen overnight. They happen over time. Days, weeks, and months of bad behavior, poor diet, increased stress, destroys the body and prevents it from healing. And if you wait till it's broken down, you've waited too long. And this is not to shame anybody. This is actually to empower you. Get off your rear and start making changes. Because this is what it's all about. If your behavior played a role in your symptoms, then your behavior can also play a role in your healing. And the next thing that's gone wrong is our habits and our culture around being sick or around being well. You know what's really broken? It's not our healthcare system. It's our health mindset. Most people think being not sick means being healthy. But I've seen so many quote unquote normal labs and people who feel like garbage. And I've had patients who doctors tell them, "Oh, you look fine. You don't have no problem. Everything looks good to me." But they can't sleep, or they're gaining weight, or they have no energy, or they can't focus on anything. And I can tell you that there's no drug that can fix this, but something's wrong because we've accepted just feeling lousy as acceptable. Here are the common patterns I see. First, we normalize being exhausted. If you get out of bed in the morning and being a little tired, that's fine. But being tired all day, or you go find in the morning and you just crash in the afternoon to where you're loading up on caffeine or supplements or whatever else, that's not normal. You need to fix the problems that are causing that. The next thing is almost everybody has mood anxiety issues nowadays. And that's not normal either. We should be going around all day long, not being able to perform our daily task because the anxiety is eating at us. Bloating and GI issues. How many people expect just to be constipated, bloated, be gassy every time you eat? I hate to tell you, that's not a normal thing. You should sit down and eat a meal and get up and actually feel better when you're done and not worse. The next thing is hair loss and skin issues. I see this so often, and they're just part of the normal culture that there are actually a whole line of products nowadays for skincare and hair loss that really are just to mask the problems that are already there. And if you look at that, it's just thought this is part of aging or this is what should happen. Like I was at a talk this weekend where it was the dementia, Alzheimer's, and cognitive decline that happens over time. Getting old, it is not supposed to be a part of getting older is you lose your brain and you can't function. That's just something that's the norm now because our culture allows us to say that these things as we happen as aging that we expect, they're not the normal process of what the body's supposed to do. I think we accept daily medications as a life sentence. Just because you're put on a prescription drug doesn't mean you're supposed to stay on it for a lifetime. And then the next thing I see is you're on one that causes a side effect that leads to 2 to 4 to 5. The way that I see it, the body should be trying to heal itself. And if you don't do the behavioral things to fix yourself, you're right. That prescription drugs is going to become as much as part of your life as your daily living. And you know what? That's not the way it should be. This isn't just a healthcare problem. This is a cultural one. We've accepted sick care as the norm, and wellness as longevity is something for other people. We've been taught to outsource our health to the system, but instead of taking ownership ourselves, and this can no longer happen because honestly, our healthcare system can't afford it. And more importantly, your body can't live that way. You might ask, Steve, why do you have so much passion about this? I can tell you it all comes down to conversations with patients that I have every day. And it has nothing to do with filling prescriptions. It's about taking time with patients to explain what I've learned through the years to help them feel better and heal. And the sad thing is these conversations stick with me and I can hear them in my head all the time. I remember recently I had a young lady come in the store, and after going over all the things that were wrong with her healing and where she was going wrong, she whispers and says, Steve, nobody's ever explained this to me before in this way. And I think she's already been to 3 to 4 doctors before me, medical providers that could have given answers, and they've never taken the time to explain it. I had a gentleman sat in the office the other day. We were going over a stack of medications. He was on like 12 prescriptions, 4 or 5 supplements. And he says, I don't even know why I take half of these. And when I see that situation, I think, has nobody along the way talked to this gentleman to help him understand what one prescription does or what the lifestyle he could change could make a difference? So we're not on one prescription after another. Just knowing that somebody's life is attached to that many prescriptions really drives me to be a little anxious and a little frustrated. Quite often, I have parents bringing their children to me. Parents are so stressed out because they see their child struggling in school, can't focus, poor anxiety. I have a lot of girls nowadays that their moms bring them in because they have hormone issues due to the stress and poor diet. Or sadly, they've been stuck on a birth control pill that, yes, may help regulate a cycle, but has so many risks and causes so many other problems. But nobody ever talks to them about what these hormones can do to their body. But more importantly is if they could just work on diet, if they could just work on stress, how their overall life could be better without any prescription drug at all. And sadly, these aren't rare. They happen every day. And it's what drives me to speak up, not just as a pharmacist, but as someone who believes our bodies are designed to heal, and we can't stop ignoring what our body's trying to tell us. So what are the things that people need that they're just not getting? If I could rewrite the healthcare system rules tomorrow, I'd give every patient these 3 things. First is time. Enough time to ask questions, but more importantly, to be heard. You have to take time to listen what the patient's going through. And sadly, with the way the healthcare system is set up, when you're sitting in a doctor's office, you barely have enough time to give your name and your date of birth, much less allow the patient to explain what's needed. But in addition, the patient needs time to accept what's going on, listen to what's being told, and take that and make it an actionable request so they can improve their health. Next is education so that patients can understand what's happening in their body. I find most often when patients understand the science, why drugs work, a supplement works, lifestyle, reducing stress, they do so much better. People don't want to memorize a medication schedule. They want to know how something works in the body. It's like an intent within a conversation. If you have an intent and you have a difficult conversation with somebody, but you tell them, look, this is why I'm having that conversation and the response tends to go much better. The same thing is in our medical conversations. If I have time and the education to explain to somebody, this is how it works, this is what it does, this is what you can expect, allow the patient to ask questions, many times the patient's more apt to accept that recommendation and move on it because they understand and have the education to be successful. And lastly is hope. Most people walk through the doors already so downtrodden, feeling like they have nothing they can do to control it and that their health is out of their hands. And I can tell you there is nothing more far from the truth. We know so much nowadays. I heard the other day the amount of science and health data doubles every 73 days based upon the latest networking data that we have. And knowing that there are so many things that we can offer our patients and that patients can do to change their life, there is always hope as long as there's that desire to know that you can make a change. But here's the good news. Time, education, and hope are there. They're present. You're not stuck. All you need to do is get on the right map to work on yourself and find somebody that's willing to help you to show you that way. So I hope you're a little more motivated to make change after hearing what I've said so far. So I'm going to leave you with 5 truths that I think will open the door to start that change and help you be successful. First, normal is not optimal. Don't settle for somebody just telling you your labs are fine when your body is telling you something otherwise. Dig a little deeper, find a different doctor, but I will not accept that you're just normal when your body is saying something else. Second, symptoms are messengers. Your body isn't broken, but it's trying to get your attention to tell you you need to take a deeper look at what's going on so you can fix some underlying issues that don't just go from a symptom to a major medical condition. Number 3, this is a pharmacist speaking, so hear me clearly. Nutrition, sleep, movement, and mindset are more powerful than any prescription drug that I can recommend you. Next, supplements can help, but they are not shortcuts and they're not the end-all be-all. You still have to put your work in to allow them to provide their most benefit. Now, you combine supplements with a little bit of lifestyle change, and that 1 + 1 = 3 can have a dramatic impact on allowing you to get your health back. And lastly, take a different approach to healthcare. How about instead of trying to add more, look often at removing what is interfering? That includes things like reducing stress. How about taking more sugar out of your diet? How about removing toxins from your body? And even more importantly, how about getting the negative thoughts out of your head that are keeping you from being successful? This show isn't just about supplements or science or stats. It's about pulling back the curtain on what really works, what doesn't work, and how to take back control of your health. For over 30 years in the healthcare field as being a pharmacist, here's one thing that I can tell you for sure. Your body is capable of more than just what you're being told. It is capable of amazing things. And I don't care if you're starting getting yourself aware at the age of 10, or if you're in your 50s, 60s, and 70s, our bodies are amazing. And it's never too late to start your change story now. I want to thank you for listening. If this resonated with you, or you know somebody that needs to hear this message, maybe more than yourself, share it with someone that you love. Make sure that you subscribe and write a review and tune in to next time, because the truth about how your body works is just getting started.